All right, what's going on, everybody? Podcast number 1 for Upside AI. We are an AI business automation partner that helps modern businesses forecast and integrate artificial intelligence through really roadmap solutions and strategic implementation. So what does all of that mean? Well, end goal of what we try to do for companies is help people to increase their profits and save them time. And AI tools are a really great way to do that. You can both drive revenue and decrease your expenses kind of all in one foul swoop. We're seeing it happen a lot in a lot of different businesses. I'm sure it's coming across your different social platforms and everywhere else that you're consuming information. AI is changing the game in a lot of different ways. So what we're doing as a business is coming into a variety of different business types, from real estate investment assets and RV parks, self-storage facilities, to small businesses. We're helping some construction companies, handful of different pieces, as well as some different capital groups. We're helping some bigger real estate investment organizations kind of streamline some of their processes and introduce different AI tools. We do this through really a variety of different ways. Primarily, we kick off with sort of an AI opportunity roadmap where we go through and we look at a different company and we understand sort of the ins and outs of what's working for them, what are their actual systems, where the bottlenecks exist, and we'll create a really pretty process map that kind of outlines, hey, when a new customer comes into your business, where do they start? What is all the different pieces that they're seeing and experiencing? And once we have a really good blueprint laid out, then we can come back to the company and say, hey, here are the current places that different automations, different AI tools, different AI agents. We'll talk a little bit more about what all those different pieces mean, but what tools are currently available that could be usable today, and then let's forecast the future. Let's look at what different opportunities might exist down the road based on the current format of your company. So that's really where we kind of transition into the next phase, and we say, hey, we can either tell you what DIY tools currently exist, and we can provide you with the different resources that are there, and that's part of what we want to talk about today, just some currently existing tools that people can be thinking about and using for their businesses. And then we also offer implementation options for companies as well. So we can sit there and say, hey, these are the tools that we think you need. Do you want to DIY them, or would you like us to come in and actually hold your hand, implement them into your processes, train you and your team on how to use them, and continue to do ongoing maintenance to make sure that they're running as efficiently as possible. And we also do just basic one-on-one consulting. We can jump on a call just like this with companies and just talk about, hey, what's happening in AI? What's going on with your business? What are your bottlenecks? And just kind of brainstorm different options, different solutions, and present you with tools as well. So for today's little podcast, that's just the basic introduction on who we are. My name is CJ, and we've also got Bez, Joe, and Max here as well. So we're just going to spitball a little bit and chit chat about kind of what's happening in the AI space, a couple of different tools that we're excited about right now, and some different things that we think might be useful for your businesses too. So I hand it off to Joe if you want to jump in here and kind of talk about just sort of the high level of what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the number one thing that's really taken the world by storm is the voice agents. That's been the most impressive, and I think the most applicable to any sort of business. Right now we're seeing a rollout of tier one, what we're calling tier one voice agents, where they're essentially a glorified voicemail box, but can do so much more than just receiving a voicemail. It can answer questions, FAQs, and now we're already seeing that they're moving even forward with being able to take bookings, take payments, and we're seeing this. Max, you just ordered Chipotle, and they took your order and took your payment?
That's right.
Wow. So did they take your credit card information over the phone, or how did that work?
So the way it worked is I actually went through the entire process with the voice agent, and then they had me put my card information in by typing on the keypad of the phone.
I see. Yeah, because I know that there's like different privacy laws where you can't, a voice agent is not able to accept a credit card number by verbally sending it, correct?
I haven't looked into the compliance rules, but I know for sure that you can't send them via an SMS campaign or an email campaign, so it would have to be tracked and probably encoded within the voice agent.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think that's why you were probably sent and had to, type it in manually because, yeah, there's something about that I've read into. So, yeah, so I mean, that's really what kind of got us into the space. Us three, we integrated a voice agent into an RV park, and I'll never forget the first day that we listened to the voice agent started talking to it. I mean, we're talking to robots, and frankly, like they talk a little bit faster and more efficient than a human being. And yeah, we joke around about the idea that eventually, here pretty soon, people are gonna, instead of being like talk to a human, because they're tired of the call tree, they're gonna be like, give me a robot, because they want it done faster than quicker and more efficient. So, but yeah, voice agents are definitely clearly taking the world by storm right now. And definitely the most applicable for all different types of businesses. And that's really something that we wanted to dive into first. That's what really, got us inspired to do this. And but very quickly, we're seeing that the tech is moving so fast that really what we're here to do is help you find the best voice agent for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Max, if you want to jump in and talk a little bit more about that, also it'd be great to kind of chit chat on kind of the process mapping of how we sort of would first work with a company and figure out if maybe it is a voice agent, maybe it's a chat bot, maybe maybe it's a marketing tool. That's a better place for you to start. Kind of use a process map to lay the land as to the most efficient and effective tools to use right off the bat. And Max is kind of the pro at working with businesses on those.
Absolutely. So, a little bit of background on myself. My name is Max. I am Upside's AI operator, so I'm responsible for basically shepherding in this new technology and helping people to understand how it works and integrate it with their existing systems. And as it relates to voice agents, we've actually been trying a whole bunch of different options. We have gone, all over the board, from trying ready-made solutions all the way to the custom development side. And so far we have found the happy medium to be somewhere in the middle, where you are using a platform that's, easy enough for anyone to hop on and use it. And we are training the bot based on the information of our business and basically training the persona of the agent to be able to handle the call just like a real receptionist would. What we're seeing is that a lot of software vendors are actually coming out with their own voice agent platforms, and they exist pretty much the same way that the ones we're currently using do. The pricing, varies depending on how many calls you're getting per minute, or how much your call volume per day and how many minutes per day. But roughly, those are the two best options that we're seeing on the market right now. And how that relates to process mapping is part of what we want to help businesses do, is identify the areas where AI is most applicable, because there's a lot of tech out there. So, CJ and I, we've been playing around with probably 50 to 70 different tools. I mean, Bez included. We've all been playing around with different softwares, and some of them, as we've been finding out, are just smoke and mirrors. And the point of process mapping is to go into your business and identify the bottlenecks and the choke points where AI can actually make the biggest difference. And right now, we're noticing that voice is one of the major opportunities to do so. So do you want to maybe go into how we've been using it specifically within the park?
Yeah, so I think our end goal for a voice agent would be something that could stand in the place of a receptionist as needed, who could answer every phone call, check our reservation system at the RV park, and then ultimately go ahead and book a reservation. Just a little bit more background. I've got two RV parks, one that we've been focusing a lot of this AI tech into in Utah called Rolling Home RV Park. And but yeah, I think the ultimate destination for a voice agent is something that could essentially replace a human, or at least stand in to function for a lot of the roles that a human might have. So that's really what we consider kind of the gold standard and end destination for what a voice agent can handle. I think that right now we're looking at more of a really good opportunity for lead capturing and recording information about a guest that calls in. So, kind of considering it more of like a glorified voicemail machine. We could even do a live demo on the call here if somebody wanted to call my phone and do a little live interaction with our voice agent. Essentially, what it's able to do is pick up the call. Bez, maybe you want to do it.
Yeah, what's the number here?
Just call me. Just call my phone number.
Oh,
I've got the
right, right,
voice
right.
agent set up on the
See,
back
look at
end of
that.
that.
Look at that. I'm just calling my boy, and yet on the back end.
Yep. So I don't have it currently trained to handle a lot of my like personal information. And I'm not sure that I'm even interested in that, but it understands my business. So it should be able to pick up the call and have an educated conversation about the parks. You could just ask about rates. You could ask about where we're located, how to get there from different places, and it should be able to have a pretty educated conversation. Let's use my phone here and I can cut to the end of
Hey, you've
that.
reached Chad Ledy in the Rollin' Home RV Park. He's currently unavailable, but I'm his AI assistant and can take a message or answer business questions. How can I help?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about making a reservation for the RV park, but I don't know why would I stay there?
Rollin' Home RV Park is a great choice for RV enthusiasts. It's located in Nephi, Utah, and offers spacious, clean sites with full hookups and fast Wi-Fi. You'll enjoy beautiful views of the Wasatch Mountains and have access to on-site hiking trails. Plus, it's conveniently close to downtown Nephi and Scenic Drive, making it a perfect base for exploring Utah. Is there anything specific you'd like to know about the park or its amenities?
You mentioned it's near downtown Nephi. Is there anything good in downtown Nephi I can enjoy?
That's a better response than I probably would have given,
Downtown
honestly.
Nephi offers a charming small town atmosphere with local shops, dining options, and historical sites. You can explore local eateries, visit unique boutiques, and enjoy the friendly community vibe. It's a great place to experience local culture and unwind after a day of adventure. If you have any specific interests, I can help you find more detailed information.
Oh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to stay there tomorrow night, do you have any idea what that would cost me?
For a nightly stay at Rollin' Home RV Park, the rate is $34 before tax. If you decide to stay for a month, the total after tax would be $1,072.16. Would you like to know more about the reservation process or any other details?
Whoa, that's really expensive. Is there any way I can get a deal?
While the standard rates are set, you might be able to find discounts through gift cards or special offers such as Good Sam or military discounts. It's best to call the office directly to inquire about any current promotions or available discounts. Would you like me to pass along a message to Chad or the team to get more information on this?
No, I'd love to know a little bit more about the park. Yeah, I got a pretty massive RV and I got a couple of dogs. Are they allowed?
We roll in 2 pets per site. There's even a dog park on site, which is a fenced area with grass and a bench, perfect for your dogs to enjoy. If you have any other questions or need more details, feel free to ask.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to leave a message for Rolling Home if I could.
Please let me know what message you'd like to leave, and I'll make sure it gets to the right person at Rollin' Home RV Park.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just let them know your voice agent's pretty cool. I want to stay there tomorrow night, but I need a discount.
Thank you for the kind words. I'll pass along your message. If you decide to stay tomorrow night, feel free to reach out for any assistance with your reservation. Is there anything else you'd like to add or ask?
No, that's it. Thanks.
But thanks. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day.
Yeah, me too.
That's awesome. I mean, the reality is most of that information. So when you go in and fill out how to build the agent, you're entering a handful of different frequently asked questions in their responses, and you're inputting just a bunch of raw data. But most of the responses, especially in the beginning when you were asking about the town and the reasons to stay there, I never scripted any of that. I never said, hey, this is how to respond to that. Honestly, those are better responses than I probably would have given myself. And it's able to draw from a much larger data set than the information that you specifically put into the system. And even we didn't talk specifically about directions, but oftentimes we'll have guests that'll try to come to the park, and if you try to come to Rolling Home with a Garmin, unfortunately it throws you like 20 minutes away from the park, which is a really pain in the butt for people. And so we constantly have people calling us saying, hey, what's going on? It seems like I'm supposed to be here, but this isn't it. And then we're trying to figure out, well, where are you and how do we How do we get you there? This AI system is essentially hooked straight up to Google Maps or anything like that, and it can tell you, okay, tell me exactly where you are. You could enter your coordinates. You could say where you are on street corners, anything like that, and it will instantly pick it up and say, okay, you need to go start driving to the south, and you're going to take a right on 4th Street. Then you're going to blah blah blah, like down to the T of exactly how to get wherever you're going. And for somebody like myself or a receptionist, it's harder to figure all of that out because we don't have Google Maps playing in our head. We probably can't work with coordinates and all of those different things. So it's actually very impressive technology already. I think voice agents are kind of just starting to get rolled out, but there's some pretty cool stuff that they can do. And even like the voice that was in there, that's actually my girlfriend's voice. And we recorded it, and you do like a little 3-minute recording, and you use their tonality, and it can mirror
I
your
did
own
not know
voice. It can
that.
mirror whoever's. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't
Really?
sound completely like her, but
Yeah.
it has, we did the first one and we were kind of like, oh, you sound a little crabby in this one. Like, do it with a smile, do it with a little more enthusiasm. And the next one had more cheerful attitude.
Oh.
Um, and I think it was better than some of the other options that were already available to us. But that's the cool part is they already have preset ones. You don't have to input your voice, but there's a variety of different ways that you can tune them up. And in time, what you're going to really see is these bots are going to continue to get smarter. They're going to continue to be able to understand humor. They already can to a degree. They'll be able to pick up on tonality and see if a guest is in a cheerful or maybe an upset mood and be able to kind of dictate the direction of the conversation based on that. Hey, is there something we can help you out with? It seems like XYZ. So it's actually really exciting what's happening in the voice agent space because, for not just RV parks, but for many businesses, your call center and your intaking of calls is a huge part of the business. And like for us, we're not looking to replace our staff, but we want to optimize their ability to do their jobs well. And a lot of what they're doing at the park is interacting with people. And there's people coming to the front desk. They're going out to the people in their different sites. And the more they can spend time in one-on-one interaction, the more the customer actually gets a great experience at the park. And if the phone calls can be handled by a receptionist that does a great job, gives really good information, sells the park, that gives our employees more time to be at the park, having those interactions that mean the most versus being stuck on the call. Hold on, I can't help you right now. I'm stuck taking down all of this information. Where a bot could get all the credit card information, get all the addresses, the emails, the phone numbers, all that stuff that's really not actually building a connection with you and your guest. It's more just the technical input stuff. You have a bot handle all that. And so you can have a really good end customer experience with one-on-one interaction. And I think that's one of the things that we kind of talk about with, as AI comes into the space, it's like, there's the initial concern of like, oh man, do we really just want everything to go digital? Do we want everybody to be having some just experiencing with just technology and losing the human interaction? But I think the beautiful part of what AI is doing for people and businesses, and especially the way that we're using it, and that's why we call it the upside. It's what's the upside in AI is that it's actually giving people an opportunity to connect more one-on-one because you're not just dealing with all of the rote memory, the more transactional elements of trying to get someone into your business or selling them on the right features or repeating the same caged introductory that you do over and over. It's giving you time to really engage in the moments that matter the most when you're actually having an impactful bonding moment with your guest versus having them fill out their address and whatever else. So that's something we're really excited about with the voice agents. Like we said, this is sort of more what we see as a tier 1 voice agent versus a tier 2 would be something that can actually then look at our website, say, do we have availability? And we're actually pretty close to this. We do have bots that already do it that we're just not quite ready to actively deploy yet. Because we want to make sure we beta test them enough before we actually have them talking to real live guests. But eventually, you're going to get voice agents who are going to be able to do everything that a normal employee would do, front to finish, booking of guests and all of that, and in a really good professional and friendly manner. It's not just a call tree like Bez was saying in the beginning, where you jump on with a voice. You're used to the press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish. Oh, I didn't get the right answer. Press 1 for English. That's the most frustrating experience in the world. But I think that what people will realize is that, like you heard with this conversation, that's already really good. This is just the beginning for voice agents. I think that people are going to be talking to a human who doesn't actually understand everything about the business. And you're going to be going in the back of your head, I'd really like to be talking to a bot right now who could give me information, not just about the business, could give me information about other businesses. You can ask our voice agent, you can say, hey, what's a good local restaurant? And it'll say, oh yeah, Lisa's Country Kitchen down the street. You say, oh, do they have a steak available there? Yeah, they've got a steak on their menu for $21.99. You can also have a side of mashed potatoes and da 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 da. I don't know that. My receptionists don't know that, but the bot has access to the internet. So it's like, it's just you think the thought, and as long as it exists in the ether, you can get a response to it. So it's really exciting technology, and I think that it's going to revolutionize the way people do business. And one other important piece on that is, as a company, this is a big part of why we got into this business in the first place. I was noticing that we were experiencing a ton of missed calls through Rolling Home, and a missed call, when we really backed into all the math on this, I'd love to show the report, but when we backed into the math on this, we miss about 6 to 7 calls a day. Might not seem like a ton out of 35, 40 calls. Somebody's busy on the phone, whatever else, we miss a call. The odds that those calls convert, I don't need to go through all the math, but basically each missed call costs us about $20 worth of potential income when you really back into all the math of how much was the customer calling for and blah blah blah. But we did the math on it, and it was about $160,000 worth of missed phone calls that we were losing on an annual basis. And so the real issue becomes, how do we make sure that we're capturing all of those? The beautiful thing about an AI agent, not only can it answer a call at 3 a.m. if for some reason somebody's up that late calling in, it can also answer 3 calls at 3 a.m. and have the exact same high quality conversation, not be groggy, rolling out of bed. Oh, hey, so what's going on? Are you calling about the park? No, it's just as sharp as it is any hour of the day. It can handle an unlimited number of calls at the same time, and it can answer a wide variety of questions. I think the voice agents are super exciting right now. And you're going to see this rolling out. Like we just said, Max just called into Chipotle yesterday, and that's one of the first experiences that we've discovered of an actual live voice agent in an AI form handling business calls. We've been working on this stuff for a few months and kind of been surprised that more companies aren't using this stuff yet, because it's already good enough that it can replace a lot of your typical receptionist calls, but businesses aren't rolling it out yet. And I think that it kind of comes back to really where we see an opportunity and an ability to help different businesses. And that's just that, first of all, businesses aren't, they don't have necessarily, some of them are building a wing where it's just an AI team that is there to take on the upcoming wave that is AI and how it's going to change businesses. But most companies don't have anybody who's specifically focused on AI. So what they got to do is go out and say, okay, we want a voice agent. Well, what are the top 5 voice agent tools? I mean, we've spent months going through all of the different voice agents that are available. And some of them right off the bat, they look freaking great. You jump on a demo, just like we just did, handles the call incredibly. Oh my gosh, you get super excited. Like, this is it. And then you're reaching out to their company and crickets, nothing back. And you're like trying to call the company, nobody picks up. You get their voice agent, but you can't ever get through to a person. Then you get through to the person and they don't have it. Like, these businesses are new, most of them, because of course voice agents are new. So most of these businesses haven't been around for more than a couple months, and they don't have the back end staff. They don't have the actual software to handle the actual volume of all this kind of stuff. So what we've found is it's just smoke and mirrors. So you've got companies that don't have enough information, and so they're going out trying to reach for different companies that have voice agents available, and most of them are falling flat. And then on the other end of that, once, let's say you get a good voice agent, you have to know how to train that. You have to understand how to prompt a voice agent to actually have the enthusiasm that you want, the tonality, to actually understand the business from an inside out perspective. All of the different pieces from the actual introduction to the closing. There's a lot of different ways that you can improve upon and train your bot to be really quality and handle business the way that you would want it to. So, and then there's also just the fear. I think that there's a fear for a lot of companies of like, well, do I trust this bot to be handling calls for me? These are my loyal, loving customers who I'm going to put them on a phone with a bot. Most people, I don't want to talk to a bot. I want to talk to a person. So it's still that fear of do we integrate this yet? Are we ready for all of that? And that's really where we see our ability to come into a company and just say, hey, listen, we've already vetted all the different voice agents out there. We know what's best right now. We'll be honest that right now is probably different than 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now. These tools will continue to change. And that's something else you need to consider as a company. Is it's not just about finding the first product. It's about understanding how these things are going to evolve over time and making sure that you're keeping up with the trend as it moves. That's something else we can do is say, hey, this is what's the most sensible option right now for you. We'll train it, we'll implement it, we'll train your staff on how to use it. But then as new iterations come along, we can be there to hold your hand to say, hey, listen, I think that you should be considering potentially switching to this platform, way more user friendliness. This was the T1 voice agent. Now we're looking at a T2 voice agent, or maybe we're able to make adaptations to your existing bot. But it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of studying of what's happening in AI to really stay up on all of those trends and make sure that you're staying on top of the best voice agent. So that's really where we believe that we can come in, unless you want to hire a full-on division within your company to focus on AI, and that's their skill set, and they already have a background in AI and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be really making sense to work with partners that actually understand the insides and outs of AI tools. So that's one thing that we're really excited about. Anything else we want to touch on about voice agents before we kind of shift topics here?
Yeah, I've got a quick question actually, just because I can tell what people are thinking based off of what you're mentioning about this kind of tech. I know that people are probably very excited about this technology, but maybe don't want to replace their staff. Susan has been working in as a receptionist for 5 or 6 years, and she's doing a really great job. How can companies implement the technology without replacing their staff?
hmm Yeah, so a little bit of what I touched on earlier, where what we're seeing with AI is it's actually freeing people up to do more important tasks. So obviously, you could keep your receptionist working the exact same role, but inevitably, take an RV park for instance, there will be times that multiple guests are calling. So what are you doing in that instance? So there's different places that you can put the AI based on how integrated you want it to be. It doesn't have to be the first stop as soon as somebody calls. That's what they're getting. It can first go to your receptionist, and your receptionist, if she's not able to answer the call, it can transfer on to the bot, who can then take the message, get all the information, and give it back to the receptionist, right? It's just making your receptionist actually function more effectively. They can focus on the guest that's in front of them. If they're checking somebody in, want to give them a good experience, they know that the voice agent is back there behind them, answering the call, having a quality conversation, and is going to pass them the notes so that as soon as they jump on the phone with their client or with the guest, then boom, they're already caught up to speed. So it's actually in more ways than not just enhancing the actual, enhancing your employees, enhancing their ability to interact with the guests in the most powerful and profound ways, and versus necessarily taking their jobs. I mean, I'll be honest, if you did want to replace your receptionist, I don't think that we're quite there yet, but the tech is going to get there. It's going to get there to the point where you could have a voice agent that just answers the call, and you could even put a little iPad outside of your door that has your voice agent right there. It could even be a picture of your face or somebody else's that's having an interaction with the guest that says, hey, welcome to Rolling Home RV Park. Here to check you in. Did you already get a reservation, or do you know where you're going? How can I help you? It'll boom, blah, 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 blah. And it'll tell them all the information that they need right there. So it is that is a potential possibility. The reality is, look around, AI is going to be taking a lot of jobs, but that does not mean that just because you're using AI, that you have to be replacing people. I really believe, in my philosophy and how I want to utilize AI technology in my businesses, is amplifying my staff, amplifying their abilities to do the important things well. And that is, I think, one of the biggest ways that I think that AI is really going to help them do their job better versus take their job necessarily. Anything else you'd want to add on that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly why we got into this. AI is here whether we like it or not. And what we're here to do with the upside AI is to bring the upside. Technology has come into our space in the last 60 years and revolutionize the way that business is done completely, to the point where, we're engulfed in our phones, we're engulfed in our computers. And of course, now it's like, oh, more tech, higher tech. It just feels like, well, what we've experienced with technology is that we're going to be more into our computers. But actually, what AI is here to do when done correctly is it's actually going to take us away from the computers. It's going to give the computer job back to the computer instead of us having to learn the computer. The computer's doing computer job now. We human go back to doing human job. And, obviously, iRobot and all these other ideas about what AI can do and can't do, has brings a lot of fear, and a lot of question into what this can do, but and how it's going to change us. But the reality is, the true utopia, the true vision for AI is that it's going to take on the stuff that we no longer want to do. We can go back to that face-to-face interaction like you're talking about, CJ, back to, that true connection with each other. Like, oh, I'm on the phone with another guest and I'm doing an email. Sorry, I can't be with you. It's one of the worst things you can experience when you walk into a business. You're like, oh, well, they're dealing with somebody who's not even here right now. But that's no longer going to be the case. If you bring us on as a client, as a partner, we're going to make sure that your front desk receptionist, Patty, Patricia, whoever she is, she gets to do what she does best, which is why you hired her, because she's a great person and she's going to be that face that welcomes them in, shows them to their lot, because she can do that, because she can step away from the computer, and our computer's going to handle the computer.
Yeah, and to
I love
piggyback
that.
off of that, it seems like a lot of people see AI headlines and are naturally just scared of the technology, scared of getting their hands dirty and really interacting with it. And what I've realized utilizing it in my own work is that it actually has made it easier for me to interact with the internet and technology in general. It's kind of like a very useful IT nerd who just holds your hand through, all of these different setting up of websites or setting up of marketing or really navigating anything online. It has made my life so, so much easier and also faster. And my vision, for myself is that I'll be able to knock out a lot of my digital tasks with AI and free myself up to do more of the things I love, like being out in nature and hanging out with my boys and things like that.
That's a great point, Max. Yeah, I mean, like, I have always been relatively tech savvy, but all of this new AI stuff has gotten me so excited because it makes me so much more efficient with all of the stuff that I don't want to do, this busy work. Busy work is officially going to be out the door here very quickly for all of us. All of this busy work is silly for us to do. The computers can do it so much better, so much faster, and with enthusiasm. They're never going to wake up, having a bad day because the day before they had a bad day, and now they're not going to do the busy work as well. They're going to be efficient every single time. And that's also one of the big differences too, is like, Patty might be having a bad day, and so she might mess up on a technical error. That no longer is going to happen. And then you don't have to yell at Patty because she messed up on the technical error. And she's like, oh, well, my son, threw up yesterday, and sorry, I'm having. No, she doesn't have to deal with all that stuff. It's all taken care of. So, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. No, I love that. I do. It's changing. I think that it'll really positively change people's interactions with their workflow. And exactly like you guys are saying, I've had the same experience where in the beginning I was like, "Oh, this is a new technology. It's something new that I have to learn. It's I know everybody's doing it, so I kind of got to get along with the trend." But now that I've made it a habit of thought of, okay, I'm working on this task, maybe I'm writing a job description, or I'm going to have an interview with a new potential cleaning lady like I did yesterday. I was able to literally within 10 minutes before the call, I go, okay, I already had a job description, but I needed to revise it. I copy and pasted the old one in there and I had a couple new changes. Can you add X, Y, Z into this? And boom, it puts out a beautiful job description, done. And then I said, can you make that into a daily checklist, a weekly checklist, and an Airbnb checklist based on the RV that I rent out on Airbnb? Boom, less than 3 seconds later, I have a beautiful checklist, I maybe had 2 edits that I needed to make to it. And then I said, okay, I'm about to have a conversation with this new potential hire. Can you give me 10 good questions to ask her on this call? Boom. So within 10 minutes, I showed up, I had some general ideas of what I was going into, but I had a great job description, really good daily checklist, and great interview questions. I didn't ask all of them, but a few of them made sense for me, and I was able to just be kind of reviewing that as we were having the conversation of, yeah, could ask about this, ask about that. It's beautiful. And another one, we used a system. We've been obviously kind of reiterating as Upside has been growing and figuring out exactly where our footing is and what makes the most sense for us as a business. And about a week ago, I had an idea for a little bit of a shift in how we were doing business. And 10 minutes, probably 15 minutes before our call, I was jumping on with Max and Bez. And I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool if I could do a slideshow of this versus me just explaining this in a live format. And so I went on ChatGPT. I said, hey, I want you to create me a 10 slide presentation. And I want it to be in colors black, blue with like a kind of spacey vibe. And I want to talk about XYZ topics. I want the first few slides to do this, that, and the other thing. Probably about a 3 or 4 minute just recording of my voice into ChatGPT. Press send, boom, it prints off this perfect like slideshow prompt. And I said, build it for Pop AI, which is this online slideshow making AI tool, basically. Took the prompt, put it into the thing, and literally within 2 minutes, it said, give me 2 minutes. I'm making your renderings for this presentation. Boom. It had a 10 slide, beautiful presentation. I jumped on the call with Bez and Max, and I said, here's our new angle, whatever. And we just went right through it. And it was 90% of the way there to like a great slideshow that I made in 10, 15 minutes on the spot. And so the beautiful thing is with AI, as AI continues to advance and get better, you are only limited by your ability to be creative and think about what you're trying to put into reality. Because the AI tools are that good, they're that quick. If you know how to use them, you can iterate in real time and make all of your workflows much easier, much more seamless. So you look back at my experience with just those 2 different tasks that I outlined, the interview process for my cleaning lady and the development of a slideshow, that historically probably would have taken me as somebody who's not very like creative and good at all the pieces, but I'm a perfectionist and I want to get like a slideshow beautiful. It probably would have taken me 5 hours, honestly, because as I went back and tried editing it, it was so difficult for me, and I was overthinking the words, and I was and it took me so long. But the reality is it happened in like 10 minutes. So that was probably 5 hours right there. And to prepare for a new hire, to write out a beautiful job description that actually is good wording, is to the point of what we're actually trying to convey, all that kind of, and the daily checklist, like that was probably 3 hours of work right there. Both of those things done in 10 to 15 minutes each. So what you're seeing is now, okay, I did that thing and I did it really well. I got my new employee hired. She just cleaned an hour ago. I just got a text message on the thing. It sounds like it's going well. I'm able to get that time back. Now, what do I want to do with that time? I can either reinvest that into other stuff that I'm working on, or I can spend time with people that I love, go outside for a walk, take the dog out. I'm still accomplishing the same amount of things. It's just happening in 10x the time. So it's I think a really beautiful thing. I think people are a little bit intimidated by AI, but I do believe that if you learn how to start using these tools, and that's something that we can help you with too. We don't just work necessarily specifically with businesses. Like we said, we'll do consulting. We also do workshops for businesses where we can come in and say, hey, listen, here's how you prompt engineer your LLM. So like your ChatGPT or your Grok or your Claude or whichever LLM that you're using, we can teach you how to curate it to respond in the way that you want to. Don't always agree with me, challenge me. Use this type of tonality, input all the information that's important about your business so that when you do go to make a job description, it already knows what's my company name. It knows the morals and the ethics that we abide by, so it can include all of that stuff in there. We teach you, either your business or just on a personal basis. If you want to learn about how to get more out of AI, we can actually walk you through these different processes that will help you optimize your workflow, your day-to-day interaction with this stuff. So yeah, anything else that we wanted to cover on just that general topic? I kind of had another direction here, if unless we want to keep spitballing on how AI is changing our work and life.
Oh, actually, and I don't know if this is what you were planning on going into, but I'm just curious between the two of you guys, because I know you guys have both used a bunch of different AI tools. I'm curious what the top tool that you guys have personally experimented with that has either boosted your productivity or allowed you to do something you weren't able to do before, that people can download on their phone or computer and get working like, pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, an obvious one for me, which might be the same for CJ, is ChatGPT. I mean, it's just so versatile in what it can do, and that's the thing that's so impressive about this is that, I'm a music producer. I go in and I can send it 45 seconds, my intro to my first drop on a song, and it'll instantly, within seconds, give me critiques and ideas on what I could do with the song to enhance the song. If I want to, write a card, or I want to move into a new form of business, whatever it is that I want to do, I can plug it into it. And the beautiful thing too that I think that's crazy about it is that it's learning me. And you can create these little, like right now I have, a project that says upside. So when I'm going to go talk about upside topics, I go into that and it has all of the history that I've ever talked about with upside. And so it can reference those things. It's not just a new conversation every time. It's learning. It's constantly learning me. And so that's one thing I could advise on all of you guys is like, yeah, it does math for me. I mean, I love math, but it does math for. Actually, funny enough, though, to give the contrary, it actually it's and this is where some of the tech is just not there, and you do have to be careful with ChatGPT. ChatGPT does lie, just lies, and just a few days ago,
Hallucinates, as they call it.
dude, I literally put in the hours that I had worked and it added up the hours, and it was different than the last time when I added up. And I was like, yo, what? So I rechecked it and I asked it and I was like, isn't that supposed to be 58 hours, not 64? And it was like, oh, yeah, no, you're right. And I was like, because this is just math, dude. And I was like, whoa, you can't do that. You can't give me a wrong answer with math.
I think
This
it
is
was
really
just helping you
important.
out. He was trying to
It
get
was
you
trying
paid
to get
better.
me
Trying to
seven
make you
more
some
hours.
money, Larry.
I know. Yeah, it knows me too well. It's like you need more
Yeah,
cash, bro.
trust me, you're gonna want this. Yeah,
Trust me, it's 64
58,
hours. No,
64.
no, but for real, I was like, you can't do that. I can't lie. I can't like make up these. You cannot do this. And it was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, why did you do that? And it said, oh, I just eyeballed it. I was like, you don't even have eyeballs. What do you mean you just eyeballed it? So
Damn.
that it pissed me off, honestly. I was like, that's crazy. Like, what else are you eyeballing? And
Right.
so,
No,
you
that's
know,
an important realization in real time too, is we should all be putting into our LLMs anytime that math is involved, make sure that you do all the proper calculations perfectly every single time. Never hallucinate, never come up with a guesstimate. Always, if you don't know the answer, give me the response. Put in a smart, ask ChatGPT. This is the beautiful thing too. If you're trying to figure out a prompt for ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT. Say, what's a good prompt for training you to make sure you never screw up a math question? And it'll spit out and you'll say, make it longer, make it more detailed, make it more whatever, and it'll give you those concepts. But
yeah, because you
yeah,
can
that's
put those in the
crazy.
rules. Oh yeah, it was nuts. Yeah, you put it in the rules, and I think there's a chance that if you have the free account, I don't know that you can actually put in rules, but I do think you can prompt it correctly before you go in. Um, but yeah, pretty wild. And I remember actually it was like I don't know, a few months ago before we had even started all this. Um, Amy, my wife, had asked a question about some kind of football thing because she was doing fantasy football, and so she, didn't know something about the players, and it it like made up it. Well, I didn't know it made up something. It had said something, and Amy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pick Tom Brady because A, B, C, and D," and I was like, he never did that. What are you talking? It was like this crazy stat or something like that. Went in and I was like, I asked Chad, I was like, why did you say that? And they're like, oh, I just was just making it up because I didn't know the answer. So I just made something up. So it doesn't tell you that it doesn't know the answer. It's a yes man, which makes sense. I was thinking about it like marketing wise. Like they made this thing like they want to please the consumer. If it's gonna be biased to the consumer's thing. If it says like, oh, should I eat this muffin? I don't know. I'm not. Well, yeah, you should eat the muffin, but you could think about it, but you should eat the muffin. It's gonna say eat the muffin because they want to eat the muffin. But like you need to go in and actually be like, be critical. Be you know. My adversary in a way so that I can really make sure I'm making the right decision.
Percent. Yeah, it's wild. So one of the other things that I want to talk about, this is just a small item for any business that might be listening to this that wants to start implementing AI technology, or maybe isn't even sure if they do yet, but believes that this will be something that they will probably have to jump into eventually. And that is data is king. you need to start recording as much of your data as possible. So there's different tools that you can be using, like Dialpad is a good way for you to record all of your phone calls and all the phone calls that your company takes. This is accumulating a massive data set of all the different conversations, how questions were answered, when it was successfully answered, what did the client do, da da da. AI is going to be able to go back and review all of that detail incredibly thoroughly and then utilize that to train a voice agent, to train a chatbot for a website, to do a wide variety of tools and tasks. So figuring out right now, maybe you're not ready to start deploying different agents and all of that. But one thing that everybody can start doing is start thinking about, how do I track all of my data? How do I record my calls? How do I make sure that all the emails that are coming through are getting recorded in some way? All of the everything is digitalized so that I can input it into an LLM so it understands my business deeply. That would be the most important tool that I would tell any business anytime we have a conversation with a new potential business, whether we're going to work with them or not. It's one of the first things that we tell them. Start recording all of your data, whether you're going to work with us or not. This will be the information that you will train AI to utilize moving forward. So just a quick little tidbit that everybody should be out there trying to document as much as possible, digitize, record voice and audio. You can use Otter also. Anytime you're on a voice call on like a Zoom like this or something, get an Otter account and include the Otter in all of your conversations. It records everything that you guys said. It sends you back a transcript, sends you back a summary, it sends you back to do items based on the conversation that you had. But more importantly, like we're saying, you just want to start documenting everything and digitizing all the stuff that you're doing, because all of that will become useful. And a little bit of a kind of potentially creepy side note, it's kind of like a Black Mirror episode, because there was a Black Mirror episode made about this where it was whatever 100 years from now, and the guy's girlfriend had died, and he bought a bot and basically like instilled all her memories and stuff into her, and it was this bot that was in the room, and it was weird. And it ended horribly, as every Black Mirror episode does. But last night, I was on a call with my hypnotherapist, who I meet with probably once a month, and we do a 3-hour conversation. He's this freaking badass 82-year-old dude who's super smart. He has helped me in immeasurable ways, and we have great deep conversations every time I talk to him. And last night I was like, you know what? I'm going to record this entire conversation. I'm going to record the hypnosis process that he uses, the way that he talks to me, and the whole thing. Because he keeps telling me, he's like, man, my kidneys are failing. Like, I'm getting close to the end here. Like, it's been a good run. But, and selfishly, I'm like, I need this guy. He has helped me in so many ways in my business, in my personal life over the last like 5 years that I've been working with him. And I'm like, I need this guy around. And so I'm going to start recording all the calls with him like I did last night. And you can already train a bot to pick up the tonality, to pick up the style of conversation. Like if I just input that 3-hour conversation from last night, I could already have a hologram version of Brian. And kind of weird. It's a little bit creepy. It's kind of wild. But there was a part of me last night that was like, as he was talking about the fact that he might not make it that much longer, that I was like, I want Brian around and I want to be able to talk to this dude. And so I need to start, recording who he is in essence. And it's a little sci-fi. It is, because when he passes, I will probably be using a bot and I will be interacting with it like it's Brian. And ask me questions about morality and the weirdness of all that and whatever else, for sure. But when the opportunity is actually there in front of you and you got a chance to document someone that you love and care about, that you want to be able to bounce ideas off of, and especially somebody like that where he's like a business counselor for me in a lot of ways, and a personal counselor. And it's like the way that he interacts with me is profound and powerful. And even just his voice, he's got this old British accent, and he's kind of a little bit harsh and swears a lot, and he's just like this really like beautiful character that I want to be able to continue to interact with. So it's a little bit weird, but that's the world that we're entering. You have that ability, and
that's the thing. I mean, it's a little bit of an edge case, it's a little bit on the fray right now of what's kind of socially acceptable, but it's something that we're going to have to be prepared for, because further down the road, that's going to be a pretty normal thing, I want to guess. And I don't know if you guys have you guys seen Tony Robbins' Gigi? It's basically all of Tony Robbins, all of his seminars, all of his books, all of his content, everything he's put out over the years. An AI bot has been trained on it that you can interact with as if it's Tony and ask him questions and ask him, you know, business and personal growth related questions and get a very, very accurate answer to what Tony Robbins would actually say. And on a bit more of a practical level, I think that's something that could be utilized for pretty much anybody. Let's say you've got a whole bunch of Google Docs full of information that you've put down over the years, whether it's about yourself, your business, or like CJ was saying, if you're able to, if you're using a tool like Otter or Fireflies to record meeting transcripts, you can send all of that into an AI bot and be able to interact with it on a much more interactive level and draw insights from it. And yeah, just use it as a super dynamic tool. So it's pretty exciting.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure anybody who's been listening to this, whether you're new to AI, whether this is, you're you're 1,000 hours in on this. I'm sure ideas have been rolling in of how you could apply this to your life or to your business. If there's any curiosity whatsoever, please reach out. Send us a message. We'd love to sit down, have a discovery call with you, and just go through your business. We want to be your partner in helping you transition into this, new world that we're in. And you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the curve by working with us, and you're going to be, seeing the upside in your life and your business. And we're going to be helping you do that. So, upside-ai.com. You can contact us there. Otherwise, support at upside-ai.com. Send us a message, and we'd be happy to hop on a discovery call and see how AI can give you more face time in your life.
Well said. Absolutely. So I got a couple more topics and that I think would be worthwhile to jump into here. How's everybody doing on time?
Unfortunately, I do need to bounce. We got
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All good. All good. Yeah, we can always pick it up and jump in on another one soon. Cool. All right. Well, pleasure chatting with you guys. It's good. Upside podcast #1 in the books.
That's right. There's so
This
much
has been
upside we
great.
could just keep going for days and days. That's the
Yeah,
that's
honestly,
the
there's
reality.
probably 5 or 6 more deep topics that I'm excited to cover with everybody. This stuff it's emerging, it's changing quickly. The landscape of what we're looking at today versus where we'll be a year from now, and versus certainly where we were a year ago, are all 3 different, very, very different places, and it's exciting the way that it's all moving. It can be a little bit scary sometimes, and we're experiencing that as well, but we're here to kind of help guide businesses to take the best step forward to integrate in the ways that are advantageous to them and their companies, and not just, this isn't us coming in saying, hey, you're supposed to replace all of your employees and everything is going tech and bot. It's more about how do you optimize your current workflow? How do you get more with less? And how do you increase your revenue so you can afford to pay your people better, so you can afford to, do things, just run your business more efficiently and effectively, and potentially even hire more people because you've got more free income that is being generated by a lot of these basic tasks being handled. I think that this technology is really exciting. We're enthusiastic about it. We love learning more. Honestly, we kind of sit around and have these conversations all the time, just as we're doing business and working with clients and things like that. And it's been fun because of the rate of change. It's exciting. It's moving fast. There's so many different tools and technologies that are impacting our lives, from health to relationship stuff to interpersonal to business to it's pretty wild, the amount of tools that are coming out. And I think that as people become more ingrained with this technology, they'll become more and more excited about it and more comfortable with the ways that it can be utilized in their lives versus, I think we're seeing a decent amount of AI resistance. There's a lot of people who are out there who are stoked about it and who are implementing it in their businesses. I mean, you're seeing it across the board. So it's happening very quickly. I certainly understand some of the hesitations around different pieces of it. And some of the tools I've looked at, we're constantly looking at tools. Some of the tools I don't I don't agree with some of the practices and the ways that they're asking for information and the access to the things that it has. And, in those instances, not working with those. And so I think that there's an important privacy barrier to be aware of. There's a really important security question to be answered. This is something we'll talk about in a later podcast, but security is about to become a massive issue. You can record like we said, you can get somebody's exact tonality of their voice. So you're already seeing this happen with grandmas getting calls from their grandchildren saying, I'm stuck in this situation. I need you to Venmo me money right now. In their voice, they know everything about it. It's scary. And the authentication that's going to be coming across of how businesses do wire transfers and all this different stuff, it's going to get very complicated. So those are other important tools that even if you don't want to utilize XYZ, you got to kind of stay on top of how you're going to continue to embrace this new landscape intelligently so you don't get caught in a bad situation. But more than anything, I think that AI is providing a bunch of really exciting use cases, can optimize your workflow, can optimize your personal life. And, we're excited to help people roll out the upsides in all of those different ways. Thanks, everybody.
That's the upside.
Yeah, that's the upside.
The upside, baby.
Pleasure. All right. Yep.
Good stuff.
Stay human.
Thanks, gents.
Been a pleasure.
All right, thanks.